noticed that I probably will be introducing them as new members coming up. Let me see. Actually, there's one person, Matthew Ng. You're representing the Stats office. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, yeah, my name is Matthew. I'm representing the SWOG Data Management Center in Seattle. And it's great this is actually my first group meeting ever, so it's great to participate. Thank you.
And I understand you're also a pharmacist by training?
That is correct, yeah. Yeah.
So can you tell us what is your role at the data management area? Because this is new. We never have a pharmacist in that from the office before, so.
Right, yeah. So yeah, I'm a data coordinator here. So I just make sure all the data that's submitted is correct.
Excellent. Okay, so I guess we will be seeing you in future meetings also. So hopefully we'll get to meet you in person sometime.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so did I miss anybody who is a first-time attendee for this meeting who would like to briefly introduce themselves? Okay. All right, so let's get to the meeting agenda, and it's already posted on the screen. So the first one is the attendee introduction, which we just did. In terms of the meeting and meeting summary report approval, this is more specific for the committee members. The meeting summary was sent before, and it was really recorded report by people who were supporting the virtual meeting. So it was sent to the members. I got some feedback on that. So there was no major change of the content. So I will just report that that summary meeting has been approved. And so with that, the next item is introduce of new members. So Jane, you attended the meetings last time, but now this time you're attending the meeting officially as a member of the PSC. So would you like to say a few words to introduce yourself?
Yes. Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Jane Rogers. Thank you for letting me join your all's committee. I've been a pharmacist at MD Anderson for about 6 years now. I've joined SWOG in 2018 on the Gastrointestinal Medical Oncology Committee, and recently have been welcomed to your all's Pharmaceutical Sciences Committee. So I'm excited to work with everyone and get more involved.
Great, thank you, and welcome again. Michelle, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone. My name is Michelle. I'm a second-year pharmacy resident at the Johns Hopkins Hospital. My residency program is in investigational drugs and research here, so I am very new to this committee, and I look forward to helping out in any way. I completed one recent drug section for the committee, so I look forward to doing many more and working with everyone here. Thank you.
Great, excellent. So the next individual I'm going to introduce is Ada, and she is already taking a leadership role in the Pharmaceutical Science Committee. So Ada, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Aida Ulloa. I guess the two main things that I want you to remember, I guess, about me is that I'm very, very excited to form part of the Drug Information Subcommittee, and I'm ready to work with you and for you so that we can get the work forward for the committee and hopefully positively as well impact contributions to the Pharmaceutical Sciences Committee. And I will do my very best efforts to fulfill the duties required. So if you have any constructive
All right, have a good
feedback,
night.
suggestions, guidance, or anything else. Some of you have already provided me with great guidance and feedback, so I sincerely appreciate it. But please do bring those, if you have any new ideas, feedback, I would love to hear from you. So feel free to contact me if I can ever be of any help.
So Ada, I know I have sent out a announcement after the last group meeting to introduce you as the new chair of the DI subcommittee. But would you like to tell some of the who are not our members receiving emailed about a little bit about you?
Sure. Well, I am originally from Mexico, in case the accent doesn't give it away. I came to the U.S. Back in 1996, and I started my studies at Colorado State University, where I did my bachelor's and my master's. I studied a virus that causes leukemia called HTLV1, and I studied the signal transduction that made it get activated and replicated, and I fell in love with signal transduction. Then I moved into my doctorate, where I studied contractions in the myometrium, and the goal was to try to prevent those contractions, to try to ultimately prevent premature birth. And with that project, I fell in love with microRNAs, long non-coding RNAs, and all that world that I believe has so much knowledge hidden in it. And after I graduated with that, I went into a food company, actually, to study brassica plants and their genetics. So I was there for around 6 years doing genetics. Genetically speaking, it was a fascinating time because brassica is a polyploid, so it was a complex system to study. And I guess the goal of that was to make oils healthier, so that when you go to McDonald's and you eat your French fries, they are a little bit healthier for you. And after I finished with that, I realized that plants are not in the core of my passion. So I decided to move into new opportunities on the other side of the spectrum from where I had focused my efforts at the beginning of my career, which was basic research. And I joined the Oncology Clinical Research Department at UC Health. I've been there for around a little bit over a year, 4 years, apologize. And in there, I've played many different hats. I've helped with management of contracts and financials. I've aided with regulatory and data management pieces, served as a liaison between the pharma and our PIs, as well as organization of some conferences and educational opportunities. But my main focus now is on the research coordinator side. And it's great because that has allowed me to learn a lot about the clinical trials and everything that is involved within them to help patients navigate through that journey. And joining this committee, it allows me, and it already has allowed me to feed a little bit from your knowledge and get that scientific piece, I guess, with and incorporate it into the whole, into my whole work life. So it's fantastic. So thank you very much for welcoming me into your group, and I truly cannot wait to work with all of you.
Great, thank you. And when Ada, when we get to the next agenda item, you'll find out that we already have been keeping Ada very busy as the DI subcommittee chair. So with that, thank you, Ada. This is something, the next item is something that has been requested because I think a lot of people wanted to know, in addition to the direct information requests and things like that, and protocol review, what other activities are occurring, and sometimes it primarily just comes through my desk, and I may or may not always involve the committee members, and sometimes I would involve selected committee members based on the expertise background. So it was asked of me to at least provide some report of activity, so the committee members get to appreciate more well-rounded activities that the committee does. So I guess one of the things that I have spent quite a bit of time doing since the last group meeting is the review of a selected protocol that go through the rapid review process, which is the S2007. So when we do that, primarily we do both the DI section as well as section 3, as well as review of the whole protocol, even at a much earlier stage of the protocol development. So this is a protocol coming with a fairly complicated information, which really require a lot of input from the pharmacy side, including a lot of drug interaction. And I think it was through this review, as well as another protocol that I didn't list here with a very minor review process, that I recognize that perhaps we need to do something a little bit more with standardizing the language among the different protocols regarding drug interaction, because what I find is that a lot of time we're listing tables for drug interaction. However, we also realize that those tables oftentimes can be quite difficult to update. So consequence to that, we've been, I had a discussion with the operation office, primarily the protocol coordinators, and it's been agreed that perhaps we should standardize the language of the drug interactions when we are developing protocols, and also utilize more of the web-based link so that we can keep the information current and to avoid the risk of forgetting to update the information also. Because as many of you know, drug interaction is a quite complicated process. But we also need to design this to make it as simple and as direct as possible because of the users of this area in the protocol, because most of them may not be people with strong pharmacology background. So consequence to that, I have put together a draft, and then I solicited input from both Dan Hurst and also Lauren McCaff, who you may remember. She's not a PSC member. However, she was Dan's fellow, and she was very instrumental in working with Dan to create the drug interaction project that Dan is still working on to create this platform. Eventually, we hope that it will become a real-time use. So we are at this stage of doing a lot of the pre-work to confirm the utility and of this platform and the accuracy of that. But I'll let Dan explain that if he will be joining us, and to explain more of where we are with that. So, Crystal, would you be able to show that document that is the drug interaction standardized language? It's a Word document. Yes, thank you. So basically, what we have done is to create something, a very generic language. Essentially, what I was hoping to do is really just put a very simple statement in section 3, because typically we don't put the detailed information in there. However, in section 3, that we do need to put in an alert statement, as I call that, about drug interactions. So this is the statement you see on the screen under drug interaction. Is alerting people of what the interaction may be. Is it an enzyme, or is it a transporter, etc., or is it can be a QT prolongation, etc. So that reminds me that I might need to revise this statement to broaden that a little bit, so as to alert people to look for that and then send them over to section 7 The X means that whatever number it should be the subdomain for details. And so if we can roll down on the document. Or do I have control?
You have control of your own screen. When it goes from page 1 to page 2, I can change that.
Oh, okay. But if I can only see it, but not the rest of the team, right? When I do that.
Everybody has their own controls, and so if you move your mouse, you will see on the left-hand side up and down and zoom in and out. Right.
Okay. So if you look at section 7, this is the section labeled as treatment plan. So at the appropriate location, what we have done is created several different types of statement to address this specific study drug that we'll be looking at. So we divided into an enzyme, when the study drug is a substrate, or is it an inhibitor or an inducer of enzymes, and then we included examples in there, so at least people know what they are looking, where the classification occurs. And then the one, as you see with the bracket, not the parentheses, is where people will fill in the blanks or select the appropriate. So you can see the study drug, people will fill in the name of the study drug. It's a substrate of the enzyme, and then they can also select the name of the enzymes. And then we talk about concurrent administration of the strong/moderate inhibitors or inducers of the enzyme. And then after that, the PI will, or the protocol coordinator will select, this is a drug should be avoided. So it really depends on the level of the drug interactions, or people should exclude this drug, or actually people cannot enroll in the trial. So that's kind of the foundational structure of the statement here. And then we talk about the study drug is an inhibitor of an enzyme or an inducer of the enzyme. And then we provided the link. So this has been changed because this is a recommendation from Lauren McCaff, because when she was doing her fellowship project on the drug interaction platform, she had done a lot of background research. And so this is the site that she actually recommended for that.
So you are on camera, right? In front of your teacher. Okay, but you still have to listen to her. And if she calls your name, you have to answer a question.
Okay. All right. I wasn't sure if that was a statement for me, but anyhow. So this is the list of the site that people can go into with the UGT1A1 and the SIP. So actually, this is with all the SIPs, not just the 3A4, and I will update that also. Interesting. Thank you. I was saying, that's a page 2. All right. And then after that, this is a tricky area. This is for transporters. And as many of you know, transporters is not, the drug interaction is not as well studied, or availability of the information is not as concrete as the enzymes. But recently, I have reviewed a protocol where one of the drugs do address for transporters. So that's the reason why because we were going back and forth in terms of whether to include the transport statement or not. But after some of the protocols that I have reviewed, and I realized that some of the drugs do involve transporters. So at least we are putting that information in there. However, I would say the clinical evidence of transporter interaction is not as strong as for the enzymes, and that's just to keep in mind with. And so currently, the only sites that we can really find or we would recommend is the FDA site. So they have a sub area called the clinical substrates and inhibitors. And so, and in there was no inducers. So that's the reason why you only see statement of substrates or inhibitors. relating to the transporters. And so this is the site, and you can see that for every one of the reference site, we also recommended people to consult their local institutional pharmacist as a reminder, and I think that might help to improve the quality of the output also. And then last but not least is that we also added in the statement for QT prolongation. But QT prolongation can be the study drug itself and also can be a drug interaction to increase risk of concomitant drugs also. So this is the statement that we put, and then also Lauren provided a very nice website link for that. So I just want to make sure people don't get tied up with this registration process that when they access the site, it will ask them to do. This is a free registration, so hopefully people will recognize it and just register for the site, and they will still be able to access that. And again, I also wanted to clarify that actually we know that there are, as pharmacists, we use additional sites also for resources like this. However, most of those sites require subscriptions, and because of the diversity of the investigator site that we have at SWOG, and not all the site has those pay subscription or subscribed site. So that's the reason why we selected the site that are free, and that is also a reason why we recommend people to contact their pharmacist if they have access to one also for that. And hopefully that will also make people think about, if they don't have a local institutional pharmacist, that if really it comes down to it, they will feel free to contact the committee also for that. So I apologize that I did not send this out to the committee members to preview before the meeting, because this just got finished a few days ago. And so, and you can see that I'm already seeing some of the things that I need to fine tune. And in addition to that, however, I also wanted to get this to share that with, and I will be sharing this with the Quality Initiative Committee members to get their input, because it composed of a very broad spectrum of leaders in SWOG in that committee also. So hopefully I will get feedback to make sure that this is something that is appropriate and for protocol use, and get a wider spectrum of feedback from different disciplines also. So I don't know if people have questions regarding this document that I just introduced to you.
Hi, Sufan. This is Christine. Just briefly, I'm very, very impressed as a research coordinator coping with this exact issue on a daily basis. This is extremely clear, and I think it'll be of great use, and so I appreciate it quite a bit. One suggestion I would have as you're going through the review process is to emphasize that this section be cross-referenced, or section 5, which is the eligibility criteria. The cross-section with this is because the first thing that we need to do when we're enrolling a patient is make sure that the current med list isn't going to be an issue. And that's in section 5. Okay.
Got it. Yeah, I made a note to that, and then I will add that to this source document. So as a reminder for people to recognize section 5 is another area also. But thank you, and thank you for pointing out. I have not remembered that. Thank you. Okay, any other comments on this? Of course, this is something that you probably you might want to take some time to review it and absorb. So if you have any additional feedback, please send me an email and let me know. What I'm going to do is, as I'm going through this document, I will update some of the areas that I say, oh, I need to update that. So I will send you an updated version of that to review post after this meeting. This will be sent to the committee members. And so please review that and provide us with the feedback. No pride here. We work as a team, and we want this to be a document that will be utilized and will help for improving the drug interaction area. This is a very complicated area and can be very challenging. So thank you. So if Crystal, can you repost the agenda again? All right. So the next item is just an update. Something else that I have done is the ORP manual, Chapter 6 update. I'm not going to take credit for that at all because I haven't really been in practice for a few years. So what I've done is I actually asked Matt as my support, and so he did all the review of this chapter, and we have finished it and sent it back to the ORP. So that's it. So last but not least is the leadership transition plans. And so, of course, I'm still here. However, I'm very glad that at least I fill the position for the chair of the DI subcommittee. And then I will continue to work on and see what I can report back to you for the next meeting regarding this transition plan. So anyway, so I wanted to hand this over to Ada to report out on the Drug Information Subcommittee.
Hi, Crystal, can you share the PowerPoint? Thank you. Thank you. So we ended up having an approval for the drug information procedures and templates. This first slide shows the process for drug information section 3.0 development, which is basically an algorithm that allows you to identify which type of template to use depending on the DI section that you will be writing. It can be either the non-FDA approved agent or the FDA approved agent. If it is the FDA approved agent, then there are two different templates. Template A would be if the drug is going to be from a commercial distributor, and template B will be if it will be from study sponsor, NCI, or a SWOG distributor. Next slide, please. So very, very briefly, I just wanted to show you the main changes within each one of the templates. In template A, the wording was changed from commercially available to FDA approved from commercial distributor. Next slide, please. For template B, again, there was wording change from commercial drug to FDA approved agent when the study drug is from study sponsor, NCI, and or a SWOG distributor. And there are other changes in there that you can see were also set in place, and you are more than welcome to come and check them out. Next slide, please. And finally, the non-FDA approved agent form or template, which again, the wording was changed from investigational agent to non-FDA approved agent. Next slide, please. So all these templates live within the SharePoint of the Drug Information Subcommittee. They have been added to this templates folder. So right now that we're talking about the SharePoint, we created a small task force to be able to reorganize and I guess revamp the SharePoint so that it would be organized in a fashion that it would be the most functional for everyone. And with this, I have to sincerely appreciate Crystal, Miwa, Dr. Wong, and Dr. Seiden for their guidance and teaching me how it is organized and how it is being used, because I think it has not been finalized, but we have accomplished a few steps forward. And so I believe everyone within the Pharmaceutical Sciences Committee should have access to this SharePoint. So if you do not, please feel free to contact me and let me know so that we can get you that access for the SharePoint. So next slide, please. So, oh, sorry, previous slide, I apologize. So just within this, there's another folder within that SharePoint that is the templates folder. all the templates that have been finalized, such as the ones that we have presented, which were sent for approval to the Pharmaceutical Sciences Committee. They have been stored here in the templates folder. So you are going to be able to access any of those templates from this folder right here. Next slide, please. Then we created also a Drug Information Subcommittee Workload and Queries document. And well, let me backtrack a little. Within the SharePoint, there were a couple of trackers to keep track of the work that has been done within the Drug Information Subcommittee. And there was also a query workload. So what we decided was that it may be easier to reference and better to have them all consolidated into a single document. And for this, we created this disk workload and queries document. Next slide, please. So what we have done is one of the workload documents that was in there has now its own tab within this document. And for instance, in here, we have the information that was stored in the SWOG Pharmaceutical Sciences Protocol Review spreadsheet in its own tab. Next slide, please. Similarly, with the document that was entitled Drug Information Section Workload, which has its own tab. Next slide, please. And we created a new workload for all the requests that are coming in from 2020 moving forward. And the reason why we placed them into their own little tabs is because there were a little bit of differences between the two trackers, and it was a little bit difficult to be able to merge them into a single one. So we decided it would be easier just to put them into their own tabs and have a new tracker tab and move forward from there. Next slide, please. And then from here, as you can see, the query workload, as we mentioned, has also been incorporated into its own little tab. Next slide, please. As well as a workload guide. So you all have access to this document, and you are more than welcome to refer to it as needed. Next slide, please. All the documents that were consolidated into this disk workload and queries document now live in this archived folder. And I'm thinking that maybe they could live there for 1 or 2 months at least until we realize if they if it was actually a good idea to incorporate them into a single document prior to deleting them permanently. Next slide, please. There is another folder that is called Completed Drugs Section, and this folder stores all the DI sections that have been finalized. And for the time being, I request if you can please send me any finalized your finalized DI sections so that I can log them into the tracker, as well as place them into this completed drug section folder. And I think the main reason why is because the SharePoint hasn't been finalized in its organization. So we just want to make sure that the SharePoint is finalized and that we have the folders as we want them and as we think is going to be the most functional prior to sharing any directives as to how to move forward with submitting and placing those finalized DI sections into SharePoint. So just all this to say, if you can please send them to me for now until further notice, and I'll make sure to log them into the workload document as well as placing them into the completed section. Next slide, please. And finally, the meeting minutes. It stores any of the meeting minutes that have been available from previous meetings, as well as today's meetings. Meeting minutes will be there. Next slide, please. Oh, and I think that is it.
Oh,
please.
Ada?
Yes.
Would you mind, can we go back to the last slide?
Yes, of course.
So can you or maybe even Crystal can help us. So what is the difference between the SWOG drug section library versus to the complete drug sections, those two folders?
So the SWOG drug section library is the one that holds the DI sections that have already gone through CTEP review, and they have come back. Okay. However, we haven't decided yet that that's exactly how they're going to live. So we appreciate your patience as we tune those little details, and we'll let you know where they will live once we finalize the SharePoint organization. So
the completed drug section is the PSC completed drug section that we submit to the op office.
Correct.
Then the protocol coordinators, once when everything is finally reviewed by everybody after the PSC, then they would place it in the drug section library, the SWOG drug section library, right?
Correct. That's the thought that we have right now.
Okay. So
I guess that.
Oh, you're welcome. So I think for people that are asked to write, if they wanted to get to update, for example, for a DI section, then they should go into the SWOG drug section library to look for that particular drug information section to work from there. So is that how you would like the members to do, to come into SharePoint and take that the drug section from that folder to update?
Actually, I think it's a process that we're still working on, and Ida and I can continue that discussion.
Okay. So meanwhile, if that is the case, if the update is needed, will you be providing the writer the most recent version of the Section 3 for the writer to work on?
That's probably the easiest route at the moment, because our protocols are the final version. It's just, that version normally has the protocol specific information in it as well.
Okay. I guess I just want to make sure, so if we have, because we have our residence writer, the primary people on the call, so I just want to make sure that they know that they should be asking that from you for now until we get all the SharePoint site set up, and not necessarily come in here to, and even if they come in here, they need to know where to go also. So that's the reason why I'm asking for the clarification during this transition period.
Usually. Correct. As part of my process when providing a request of submission is to include that drug section and any other relevant material that could be used for it.
Excellent. Okay. Thank you. Rivka, you wanted to say something?
Yes, I just wanted to say exactly what Crystal said, that usually the operation office provide the latest template, provide the request. It comes from them, and we did not used to go into any place to take the latest template. We relied on the operation office to send the request and whatever needed to us, just as Crystal described.
Great. Okay.
Perfect. Thank you. With that, we can move forward with the drug information activities update.
Ada, do you want to talk about the PSC manual also? To update the policy and procedures and the process, when it gets all the approval, then we'll update the PSC manual because there are information in there.
Yes, thank you. So there's going to be, there are some documents that, so within the SharePoint, the documents that will be stored are documents that change frequently. However, there are some other documents that are a little bit more, that change less, basically. And those will be living within the website, and so that they are more freely and more widely accessible to everyone. And those will be also part of the PSC manual, as there are some other items as well that are going to be provided within the PSC manual. And there are some changes that, some documents that are being updated, but they will be incorporated into the website.
Thank you.
And then after that, we can move with the drug information activities update. We have had 9 write-up requests, and I promise I did practice this, but it never comes out right. It's for ramucirumab, encorafenib, binimetinib, sacituzumab govitecan, ibrutinib, AMG 510, avelumab, entecavir, tenofovir, disoproxil. So thank you very much to all the writers and all the reviewers who have done, who have placed all your efforts and time into and expertise into writing these sections. Obviously, none of this could happen without you. So thank you very, very much. It's very much appreciated. And a special thanks as well goes to the drug information residents and their program directors. The program directors are Dr. Kim Reddick and Dr. Janet Mighty, I apologize. And we would love to hear any opinions, any feedback, experiences that you've had with this program. So I pass it to them.
So I don't see Kim or Janet on. I know they have informed me that they may have schedule conflict. Michelle, are you still on?
Hi everyone. Yes, I am.
Okay.
I've only had experience with one of these so far, and it seemed to go very smoothly. I think the first time I was introduced to it, Susan had done a wonderful introduction to just the committee itself, and then the responsibilities of the what we have to do. Yeah, I think it's gone smoothly so far for the one that I've had to do for now.
Mm-hmm. So I guess, another area that is, do you feel that this activity also enrich your training as well? Or is there anything in addition that we as a committee can do to enrich your learning experience during your residency program?
I think so far it has been pretty good. I've never had to write anything like this before for protocol, and so I think personally, I think it would be interesting to see what the rest of the protocol might look like and how this drug information section kind of fits into the rest of it. But in terms of what I've been doing so far, I don't really have any comments for now.
Okay, great. So actually, I'll keep that in mind, because in the future, should there be an opportunity for request for reviewing the protocol, we can bring you in just to work with our members on reviewing protocols as well. So yeah, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ada? You can keep progressing with the. Oh,
Sorry, I forgot to unmute.
Oh, yeah. Good that I can see your mouth moving as a. Okay.
Sorry about that. Thank you very much. Dr. Smith and Dr. Yu both were the residents working on the 2 latest DI requests that we had. So thank you very much for that. Then we can move forward with the protocol review activities by Dr. Chan and Dr. Avila.
Hello, everyone. This is Holly. So I work with George on the protocol review. So George mainly gets, I'm not sure if George is here today, but George mainly gets the MEDONC request for protocol review, and I get the email notifications mainly for the hematology, myeloma, lymphoma, or leukemia requests. And then when we find out, we'll let the members know about that. So far this year, I've not gotten any requests for protocol reviews in the hematology area so far.
Okay.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for sharing that with us. I would love to learn and maybe pick your brain as I get more seasoned into the chair position to know more about those pieces. So then we can move forward with the Drug Interaction Initiative updates by Dr. Hertz.
I am checking again. The last I checked, I don't see Ben's name on the list, and I know he informed me that he may not be able to attend the whole section.
Okay.
So, and I can't remember if he said the beginning or the end. So maybe we will move on to the next one first, and then maybe if he signs on later, we can ask him to provide some update on that.
Perfect. Thank you. And I think after this, I pass it to you, Dr. Wong.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
All right. So, so the next agenda item is item number 3. Has to do with what was brought up before from the Op office regarding the walnut card, patient education handout, etc. And my memory of this is a little fragmented, so please pardon me for that. I think one of the things is, Christine, if I may put you on the spot for 2 seconds, were we planning to see if ORP committees are interested to partner or collaborate on some of this additional document creation?
Yes.
Okay.
And yes. So I can speak to Dr. Hertz's Drug Interaction Initiative update just briefly from the ORP perspective.
Okay.
We were going to invite him to be part of the OISHA Symposium this year, but as you well know, obviously we've gone to a virtual format and we got crunched down in time significantly.
Mm-hmm.
And so we decided to invite Dr. Hertz for spring, depending on how that session works out. So I just want to comment on that. As far as the drug handling handout, yes, I think that there's a lot of opportunity for ORP to partner with it, especially since we just got notice from PMB, I'm sure you're all aware, last week that we're going to extend mailing drug through May of next year. So there's quite a bit of opportunity to employ the patient education handout and drug handling piece. I'm actually newly appointed education coordinator for ORP.
Oh, congratulations.
It's kind of like a double-edged sword. Aida can probably understand what I'm going through right now, you know. So I think that there is an opportunity for us to definitely promote it. I am going to discuss it tomorrow during the OEC session. We have a session on adapting to COVID during when you're running trials. And so certainly some of our speakers are going to be talking about mailing investigational agents to their patients and how we adapt in that environment. And so I'll be talking about it there as well too. But I think the short answer would be, yes, I think there's an opportunity to discuss that and see how we can further promote that and implement it. Because I think that a lot of sites will be interested in it.
Okay. Okay.
I think the big questions would be is IRB approval, as all things. CIRB approval, of course, and then where to house it. That's always the big question.
Right, because previously, I think from our committee's perspective, we have brought that up as something that we feel will be beneficial to provide patient education handout. However, it was turned down, and I think the concern of that is the ability to keep it updated and also the ILB approval process. And so this CILB approval concept was brought up at the last virtual meeting by Dr. Maskins. So that's why I kept that on the agenda to keep that alive. So that we don't forget that there's that possibility. And would that be suffice to address the concern that was raised? So that's the reason why I put it on there. And another thing is I wasn't quite sure where we are with the ORP committee collaboration discussion. So thank you for the update for that.
Thank you.
So I hope we can maybe talk more after the meeting, and we get a chance for ORP committee to discuss this, and then maybe you can bring it back and let us know where we should go from here.
Yes, I think that'd be a great idea. I will just forewarn you, Dr. Wong, it's going to look bad, but at 1:30, I'm going to have to move to the actual ORP meeting. So
no problem. Actually, I think we are running quite smoothly, and I am starting to wonder if we need the whole 2 hours for that, to be honest with you. So yeah, that's good. And thank you for joining. Also, yes, we're all multitasking, so thank you. So I will wait to hear from you, and then there.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So the next agenda item number 4 is Jane. Do you have any update for us regarding the Beacon standardized order set that you're working on with the GI committee?
Yeah, as of now, unfortunately, no update. The protocol that we're piloting this on had to get some changes before it can be activated. So I think October, November is the last I heard that we're looking at for the protocol to be activated. So hopefully we'll have more to update in some of our future meetings with that.
Okay. So I guess, again, I think you have been in touch with some of the PSC member who has expressed interest in working on this. So if there are opportunities or if there's an expansion of more requests or protocol coming in, I will ask for your leadership in engaging members in this process also.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think once we kind of try what we drafted, there's definitely going to be some feedback that we will want to incorporate from everyone. So before we try to move it forward with other protocols. So I look forward to hearing the feedback and everything. And so should update you soon. Excellent.
Thank you. So I don't believe Dan is on the call, so I guess we will skip the Digital Engagement Committee. And in my conversation with him between the meetings, I have not heard anything significant. So item number 6 is the committee website, webpage in the SWOG website. Rivka, because you are the originator of setting up our committee webpage. So in honor of that, please give us a report and where we are, what needs to be done moving forward also. Thank you.
Sure. Happy to be there and happy to present it. So I kind of created the slide. I just copied information from the website because I wasn't sure that I'll be able to present it live. So for the benefit of new people or people that never accessed the website, it lives on the homepage of the SWOG website under Pharmaceutical Sciences. It has a title of Pharmaceutical Resources with a little mission statement or description of what we do. it starts with the committee leadership and a nice picture of Sufan that I didn't bring forward here, but the committee leadership is listed at the top. Then we have a list of committee pharmacy liaisons, and it's much longer than what I brought here to the slide. And this is something that probably needs to be updated each time the committee pharmacist liaison list is updated. So we will talk a little bit about upkeep as I go through this document, so the website. Then we have multiple resources, starting with training resources, and all of these are active links that will take you to different courses and videos. The next section is the, it kind of jumped, but it's resources that had to do with protocol review. You can see here we put the PMB website. So just to help people who deal with the investigational drugs and the protocol review to have these resources at their fingertips. We also created with the committee a very nice audit checklist, which lives here that and unfortunately, I can't show it live, but that's a checklist when the pharmacy need to prepare for an audit. It goes through everything that one needs to prepare for. And I heard feedback that this is helpful. The next section is a very thorough and comprehensive collection of pharmacogenomic resources. And was put together, I'm not sure by who, but if you want to know about pharmacogenomics, this is the place to go. And the last thing is the new member resources, which include a first-time meeting guide for pharmacists, and this was geared to first-time participation in a live meeting. So that doesn't apply to the meeting that we have today, but hopefully in future we will have meetings in person and kind of tell people what to expect. And the last document is this new member packet. And Ada already alluded to the fact that it will need to be updated. And it is helpful to know, to see there things like protocol review, process, drug information, section 3, writing process, and other processes that the committee established. Ada talked a little bit about SharePoint, and this is now, as she mentioned, is under review, and she very nicely presented all the sections. So while I prepare to kind of talk about it briefly, I think that we heard enough about it today. But I think that the next step would be having some committee member volunteer to maintain and update this site on a regular basis. So years ago, when we were on a different site, after every meeting, I used to send documents to update it, and there was a lot of upkeep. When we moved to this new site, we made sure that most of the documents that live here don't need much updating, but as you see, there are still things that need to be updated. So somebody who would like to take it on and work with Ada and update the website or request updates for the website and work with Ada on updating things like minutes after the meeting, I think would be helpful. So that's all I have.
Any questions or comments? So just so for, you mentioned about the first time meeting guide for pharmacists. This document was actually created primarily by Linda Lee, who used to be the DI subcommittee chair. She did a fantastic job with that. And in addition to that, we typically do an in-person orientation for people who are attending the in-person meeting the first time, because we all gone through that and we know how easily we can get lost at the meeting. So that was the reason why we created this first-time meeting guide as well as a in-person orientation, just so that for people to get acclimated faster when they attend the group meeting. So hopefully we will get a chance to resume that by next year.
Sufan, I have a question.
Yes.
This particular slide prompts this question.
Mm-hmm.
Earlier you discussed this, showed this very nice standardization procedure for a whole set of different molecules, if you will. But there is the whole large area of biosimilars and pharmacogenomics, and for that matter, add immunological, that is just exploding. And I wonder how and if there's going to be a standardization of this language as you've done for some of the more conventional things so far.
I would say for biosimilars, we actually have a statement that we recommended to SWOG that is in place. Essentially, currently all the biosimilars is considered as equivalent. So our stand is the language that we put in is that the institution essentially can use biosimilars as they see fit, unless the protocol specify that they can't use it. Otherwise, they can use it based on the institutional practice guideline. Because from our research, we recognize that currently all the biosimilars are considered as equivalent. So therefore, I think the term that you used to use is interchangeable, but I think because now they consider all of them are interchangeable, so they don't really emphasize on the utility of the term anymore. I hope I'm not wrong in that, but that's at least what I'm reporting out from our investigation. I think the last time we looked at this was probably about a year ago, maybe. And in terms of genomics, I have to say that is still an area that we have not explored too much. Part of the reason is, as you know, we used to have a co-chair of the Pharmaceutical Science Committee who is a genomic expert. But it appears that I think there is a preference for genomics not be housed in the PSC area. So considering that, and also because there's not a lot of really standardized guidelines set up, and we haven't really, or at least there has not been any inquiry coming into engaging our committee in this particular area. So we have not spent a lot of time looking at that. However, I would say that with our new DI subcommittee chair, Ada's expertise in her PhD training, perhaps this is something that we can revisit once when we get a lot of the once when Ada got her transition and get all the DI information all set up. Perhaps we can relook at that and see if there's a need and take it forward for that. I hope that's not what I hope I addressed what you are asking.
Oh, yes, very well, but I suspect that there will be a need in the pharmacogenomic area. It's becoming so complex that it's sometimes impossible to understand, particularly with all the acronyms and all of that. So, but no, yeah, I appreciate your response. Thanks.
Ada, do you have anything that you would like to add on Dr. Maskin's inquiry?
No, I basically agree with the points that he made, that it is something that is exploding and it's creating, I think there's a lot of knowledge or a lot of tools, a great tool that can be used However, because of its complexity, I think sometimes there's hesitation on how much to incorporate of that. So I think it would be, I'd be happy to potentially start looking into that and see how we can address that.
Great. Thank you. So thank you, Rivka, for the update of the website. And so let's move on to item number 7 on the agenda item, which is the Pharmacist Liaison report. Crystal, would you mind to share the Pharmacist Liaison list? Okay, so you can see I updated this on September 22nd. And the reason for that is because, unfortunately, Jessie Modine, who has been our member for a very, very long time, she informed me that because of the demand of her practice, she would no longer be able to serve as the breast committee pharmacist liaison as a prime. So we have that spot vacated. So if anybody is interested, please let me know. The breast committee is a very active committee. So I think we can really can utilize like 2 liaison member on that. And this is the update, and I also get some new people volunteer after the last virtual meeting. I'm very grateful for that, and thank you. So with that, if you also have wanting to switch committees, etc., please don't hesitate to let me know, and then we can work on that. So as we have right now, I think our list is quite healthy. We just need to fill the spot for the breast committee. Or maybe if other people want to switch to the breast committee, and then we'll have other spots. But I will keep everybody updated on that, and I hope that we will have all the blank filled by next meeting also. Other than that, I don't know if I know when I look at the attendance list, I see a few individuals who are serving as liaison. If you have anything that you would like to report out, or if you have any comment and recommendations, please speak. Okay, so with that, last but not least, I actually have forgotten to put this on my own report, which is the pharmacy the PSC membership list. So I would just like to ask everybody to take a quick look and make sure that if your name should be on there and it's not on there, please let me know. And also, if you know of anybody that no longer in their role as stated, also let me know, and then we can update the list accordingly. So I know some of you may recognize that, oh, I don't know who some of these people are because you don't see the name. So we have some members because of their practice that they are not able to fully engage in the committee. But we do welcome them because I think, at times there may be things come up that their input is very valuable. Our goal is to really keep our membership affiliation as diverse as possible so that it can be addressed appropriately should some of the issues come up. Because when we create documents and think about things to support SWOG, we also need to think about the diversity of the investigational site within the organization also. So that's kind of our goal. And of course, there are some members that I maintain them is because I really look at them as honorary members for their accomplishment and for their input at the creation of this committee also. So just so to give you some background of some of the names that you see on there.
So is this the complete list, Sufan?
Yes, it's what was sent to me from the membership committee of SWOG most recently.
Okay, because I'm not there.
Oh, really? Oh, no. I thank you. So I'm going to add your name back on. Rivka, sorry about that. Don't know how that occurs, but we will fix that. Yes.
And another thing, I just communicated with Dan through email, and he said that he's teaching a class right now.
Who's this again? I'm sorry.
Dan Hurt.
Oh, Dan. Okay.
You know, he's in my institution. So,
that's right. Yes.
So I kind of emailed him, hey, Dan, we are looking for you. And he said, oh, I'm teaching a class.
Great. Okay. So I, as far as I know, for the DI, he is still trying to get that multi-center study going. That will be after the completion of that. The next step will be for us to broaden the evaluation of the drug interaction platform that we have been working on. So that's as far as I know about that. So anyhow, so with that, that's all that we have. And so we will be concluding the meeting unless this also is an open forum for anybody to perhaps bring up comments or issues or inquiries or anything that you like to bring up. So, all right. So I guess we had a very efficient meeting. We are wrapping it up 40 minutes early. Again, thank you very much. Again, I mean, this is primarily really a service committee. And so I truly appreciate all your contribution, and many of you are doing it on a voluntary basis. And thank you for all the hard work. And I think we have been moving forward in a very productive manner. And I'm very thrilled and very appreciative of all the effort because it's not a one person can accomplish any of this. So, and we have always been very good in working together as a team, and from the bottom of my heart. Thank you, and stay well to everybody. Hopefully we'll be able to see each other in person soon, but I have a gut feeling they probably won't be until fall. So talk to you soon, and if there's anything that you come up with, please don't hesitate to contact either Ada or myself, and then we can take that from there. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.
Thank you very much.